He's just having a sleep right now.
He's just taking a nap.
Yeah.
We're very close to affording our magic armor, by the by.
Yeah.
Also, we're going to level up
I'm very
this fight.
excited about that. It's nice to make some progress in your life.
I don't think we have too much to go in this game.
You think?
I think we're making pretty significant progress. I do think that you can beat the game starting around like level 23 and up. We've got a new spell again. Return. Ooh. I think this takes us back to the castle.
Goodness.
Which makes me wonder how much it costs, but we can experiment with that later.
I like to wonder where the magic is coming from. Like, does it just awaken?
I think that is just, you just kind of... Maybe it's like ancestral memories. Like, Erdrick was a great hero. Maybe you're, like, discovering your natural potential as you become more experienced.
Interesting. The echoes through time finally reach you.
It's all Assassin's Creed and shit. Just, like, genetic memories. And...
I've never played an Assassin's Creed game.
What? Not even one?
No, not even one. I own it, but I've never played it.
I mean... Just like not even a single...
Never played a moment of Assassin's Creed.
Really? Like never even picked up the controller for one?
Nope.
That's crazy.
I know.
I have played all the way through Assassin's Creed 1, and then I started Assassin's Creed 2, and I was like, man, this is the same game, and so I stopped playing it, and I have not played an Assassin's Creed since, because they seem to all just be the same
Revolutionary War Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, there's Pirate Assassin's Creed. Now there's French Revolution Assassin's Creed. I feel like they did a couple in Italy. Like I feel like there was more than one Renaissance Italy.
Oh yeah, because it starts out that way, right?
It actually starts out in the Middle East.
Really?
Assassin's Creed 1 is all Middle Eastern.
Oh, cool. I did not know
that. Jerusalem, like... Yeah.
Oh,
that's why I think the first one was actually the most interesting to me, because it was something I didn't know up and down. Like, I don't know that Jerusalem area, but like, Italy's Italy... I don't know. France is France.
Sure. American Revolution.
American Revolution one did seem relatively interesting to me because it's like colonial America, which is a pretty different thing.
I was really into the Revolutionary War as a kid.
Were you?
Yeah, I used to like read books about it and stuff. It was one of my pet interests.
I don't think I've ever been like into any particular war or history really. History doesn't hold a lot of my interest for whatever reason, but
yeah, I honestly don't remember why. It was very strange.
Which puts me at odds with Tracy's family because they're big history buffs.
They are.
You are the worst human. Get out of here.
Skullman.
Thank you.
Excoriate him with your words.
Boom. Magic armor.
Oh, it's going to feel good when we put on that magic armor.
Yeah.
Don some fresh threads. Fresher than you.
Alright.
Fresher than you.
Our defense power and attack power are getting pretty high.
We are getting high. What?
Whoa.
What?
Alright, so maybe now that we're
we have
better
a lot of
equipped...
gold left over. They give us a lot for that full plate, actually.
I mean, it did cost us 3,000 to buy. Magic armor might be the best armor in the game except for Erdrick's armor. Which I don't think you buy. I think you find it.
Interesting. I mean, we must be doing pretty good right now, I think.
So what do you think? Temple? Southern Temple?
We need to remember the riddles. We need the Stones of Sunlight. Actually, are we in Rimbledar? Can we find the guy who's talking about the Stones of Sunlight?
Yeah, we should just do that.
It might just be south. I think he's in that building to the bottom. Oh, we might need a key. No. I have no tomatoes. I have no tomatoes today.
Wanted to see that.
I feel pain in those words. I do. Oh. Okay. Oh, that's right. They're hidden.
Yeah, it's just a question of where. So we need someone to actually tell us where they are, because I'm not going to search every square in Tentacle Castle. That's stupid.
Right.
I didn't try going down outside this way. I wonder if it's anything. Oh, hey.
Oh, hello. Princess Gwaelin.
Oh, I found the girlfriend.
Is Orwick on the other side?
Yeah.
Oh, man, they're all confused.
They just don't know what's up.
I'm so glad that she's not dead. I was very concerned, actually.
Alright, so what I'll do is I'll stay at the inn to get HP and MP back, and then we can go to the temple and just check it out. 1 second.
Okay. I don't know.
Anyway. To the temple.
To the temple. Wait, where are we going?
We're going to the southern temple.
Oh yeah, let's do it right now.
Now that we're
I do like that
powerful.
it does kind of open up and changes the way the world works for you. You have to kind of double back. It's not completely linear progress.
No, it's definitely like,
You're all
especially
over the place.
crossing between the western and the eastern sort of continents.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the right word, but you can definitely cross back and forth a
Sure.
good amount, and making progress in one allows you to make progress in another.
Mm-hmm.
And then as your overall level increases, you definitely get to do more stuff.
You delve. I don't know. You find more and more secrets in the places you've already been. I find that.
Yes, I do like that aspect.
It
of
adds
this game
that
a lot.
density that kind of builds that post-apocalyptic sense of the world
Mhm.
of things being buried on things. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
delving down
Yeah.
deeper into the layers
I love
of
it.
forgotten history.
Man, there's this D&D setting. It's not D&D, like old school Renaissance setting. I forget what it's called. It's called like the Land of 1,000 Towers or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really cool. It's like wizards riding dinosaurs and shit.
What?
Yeah, it's
awesome.
like wacky. And the coolest thing about it is the clerics in that world worship, I believe, the orbital gods, which are satellites left over from
What?
like previous civilizations, and they beam their I think they're AI that beam their messages into churches on like giant monitors and things like that.
That's awesome.
And it's a mega dungeon called Anomalous Subsurface Environment. I think I don't know. I've always wanted to check it out. That's like my OSR Labyrinth Lord kind of dream to try that out. It seems really cool. Wizards riding dinosaurs is kind of
that's a big draw, right?
like
there.
I'm into Gonzo post-apocalyptic,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. That's super cool.
Yeah, orbital god. That's just like the coolest thing. Like that guy who came up with that.
There's
Spicy
another
meets
thing
them all.
with that.
Yeah.
Those we left alive.
Yes.
Like the queen.
Yeah.
And the silent gods and like the weird
Yeah.
rituals that the nuns go through. I don't know if that's the right word, but
I don't remember that.
they were like self-flagellating and stuff. Oh, another
Interesting.
guy. What?
Whoa.
Whoa, he just kicks us right out.
Oh, we are missing something, I guess, that we need. Maybe we need Erdrick's armor.
Maybe Erdrick's armor or the Stones of Sunlight.
Yeah, wow, he does not like us. What a
He does not
mean
like us
hermit.
one bit. Wyvern
Okay,
is definitely not hitting us as hard, by the
No.
way.
And I won't push it too hard, but if you ever do feel like playing it again, the ending of With Those We Love Alive is, I think, really redeems the setting, because you get the sense, like, part of what I love so much about it is that you're clearly like a discontent in your position. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, you take pride to some degree in making the things that you make, but it's once you didn't get to the point where someone else arrives, did you?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's kind of the turning point. It's someone you used to know arrives in the court.
Somebody that you used to know.
It's good though. It's
Just
good.
cut that in real quick.
Yeah, we could. But,
Not a copyright problem at all.
it's great though. The ending is good. The ending
Okay.
is good.
I think we have fully explored this continent then, which means we
Yeah.
do have to go over to the west side and maybe figure out what's going on in Hawksness or further south now that we can fight things
Yeah.
that are stronger.
Yeah, we should definitely head over to Hawksness. I think that's great.
Which also gives us an opportunity to cast Return and see what's up
Yeah.
with that spell.
Oh, and what is it that we need to build this bridge, do you think?
Well, we have the staff, the rain
Oh,
staff,
Staff of Rain.
and then
We may need the Stones of Sunlight to create the bridge.
to create
The
Rainbow Bridge.
Rainbow Bridge. Oh my goodness. You're right. I
What does the
absolutely
fairy
love
food
this,
do?
man. Shreds it. Oh. But Lord, you.
Nothing happened. There must be a place that we use it.
It's the golem, remember? I believe.
Oh, right.
I believe.
forgot about that.
It could be the harp. I don't remember.
Well, we don't have the harp anymore. We gave up the harp to get the flute.
Did we?
Yeah, that's how that worked. The old man took the harp and we got the flute.
Oh,
Alright, so we have 60 MP. How much does Return
I
cost?
see.
8. So if we want to be able to go back to the castle at any time, we need to make sure that we have 8 MP left over. Because we could always use wings, but...
There's something that I thought was really cool
What's
that
that?
I'm going to try and look up again. Are you familiar with Hardcore Gaming 101, the site.
Hardcore Gaming 101?
Yeah, it's like it used to be part of everything I say is tentative, but I think it used to be part of like the Classic Gaming collection of websites. That's like sites I used to visit like 10 years ago, but like it had like the Castlevania archive and stuff like that. It's still there. It's still there. But Hardcore Gaming 101 is really cool. They cover a lot of old games.
1698 is 7,500 experience to level up.
However,
I'd just like to know.
Yeah, it's nice to know. They have a book and a DVD about the untold history of Japanese game developers. It's like they did a lot of... it's 526 pages, including 36 interviewees and exclusive archive photos. But like, I think it's like the entire history of the Japanese RPG industry. It's... I don't know. I found it really fascinating. Like, just looking at some of the pictures, like the offices.
Yeah.
I don't know, just seeing the computers that they program these on. It reminds me of things like this, but I know there had to be some predecessors to this in Japan. I wish I knew more about that history.
You mean like stuff that didn't get imported over here?
Yeah. And obviously it'd be kind of relatively inaccessible to a degree, but...
I guess maybe. I just feel like I always knew this game to have the connotation of being the granddaddy of JRPGs. Like, there wasn't one before Dragon Warrior.
I swear, I feel like there must be something that came before this, but I don't know what it would be. That'll be something maybe I'll have to investigate and get back to you.
Yeah, we could learn some more history.
Yeah. It might even be that this was the first, like, it developed a certain few unique traits that made it identifiably a JRPG for the first time, as opposed to being, so to speak, a Japanese Western RPG, like a wizardry clone or something. Like even Square, that game we were playing, I don't remember what it was called. Before we were doing the LP,
Deep Dungeon 3.
Deep Dungeon, yeah, and there were three of them obviously before Final Fantasy, but they were essentially wizardry clones.
Although, yeah, I only have access to 3. I don't have access to the first two at all.
They might not have localized them. I don't know. But
or maybe it's like a Star Wars thing where it's like, this is the third one.
Yeah, that's possible. But the overworld map, I said this before, but it's totally an Ultima thing. And actually, I was thinking about this. Remember, because I was spending so much time being a dumb about
being a dumb.
The violence, implicit in the narrative here in Dragon Quest. I realized in Ultima 4, even back then, which I think was before Dragon Warrior, if I'm not mistaken, part of that game is, if I'm remembering correctly, you have to learn and level up your virtues. There are certain virtues that you must become proficient in order to complete the game. Like, that's your goal. It's a non-violent goal.
So it sort of outlines a very specific moral universe.
Yeah, absolutely.
That if you don't embody those morals, you don't win?
I believe that is correct. It's called
Seems
Quest of the
inflexible,
Avatar.
But okay.
I think there's some variety in how you can do it, but I'm not sure. I've only played the beginning. First in the Age of Enlightenment trilogy. I mean, it still has dungeon crawling aspects, but it has a kind of ethics mission. But if you look there's an early version of the overworld map, which is very similar to what it looks like here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It says so. Wikipedia says, among the few computer role-playing games, and perhaps the first, in which the game's story does not center on asking a player to overcome a tangible ultimate evil.
Ooh, buddy, look at this. We got Rogue Scorpion.
Yeah.
He's blue, by the way. I don't know how much you can tell. But
I can't, but he's gorgeous.
He's very blue. He's not that far off from the Sky Killer. Also, he's pretty strong. Not too strong, but pretty strong.
Yeah, so in Ultima 4, in the first 3 Ultimas, apparently what you're doing is defeating members of the Triad of Evil. By the 4th game, the world is essentially being cleansed of that evil. So, but people are supposedly lacking purpose. So you're supposed to understand and exercise the 8 virtues. Upon doing so, you then enter the Stygian Abyss, the main dungeon of the game.
Oh.
Ooh, the Star Wyvern?
He seems pink, and he seems strong.
He does.
I remember Star Wyverns being like endgame enemies.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm gonna get the fuck out.
Maybe Hawk's Nest is not where we want to be right now.
Oh, this doesn't seem right.
Ooh. Do you want to... Yeah, when's the last time we saved?
I saved last time we were in town, I think.
Anyway, you go into the Stygian Abyss, you get the Codex of Ultimate Wisdom to become the Avatar. That's what happens. Ooh, a knight! Is this new?
Yeah, this is totally new.
That's a classic Dragon Quest character, I believe.
Yeah, knights.
He looks, looking like that. Not, yeah. I mean, knights are common, but he looked like that. Yeah.
Kind of a chunky knight.
He's got that little mohawk, too.
A little wider than he is tall.
Yeah. Oh, he stealth-killed you.
Whatever. I murdered him by dealing him 60 damage on the critical hit.
Ooh, and he gave us 120 gold.
Man, I'm not sure that this is where I want to be.
Where are you even?
Oh gosh. My.
I think we wander somewhere we do not want to be. Are you north of Hawk's Nest?
I'm south of Hawk's Nest a little bit. Definitely the further south you go, the harder everything gets.
Yeah. This is really scary. Why don't we return? Or...
Okay. I mean, where were you going to go, though? That's the real question.
I don't know where you are.
If I go up a couple lines...
What's that town?
No, that's Hawk's Nest.
The monster town?
I'm pretty sure Hawk's Nest is the monster town.
I mean, I guess we could try here. We need, how much XP?
When we hit 7,500, we will level up. We're at 6014.
Okay. I mean, if you think
we have no current financial goal.
True. Well, why don't we just chill here and fight monsters, I guess?
Okay. And then I will just return.
It is kind of an optimization game. I'm not really sure what's...
Because I feel like the other closest town is Garenham, which is way up north.
Yeah, you're right.
So, I guess we could just beat on these guys for a while.
Over on the east, there isn't anything else to do, right? Short of the bridge and...
Yeah, building the bridge is all we have.
We need the Stones of
unexplored areas is over here on the west and to the southwest.
The Stones of Sunlight are supposed to be at Tanticle Castle.
Yeah, but we don't know where.
But we do not know where. I'm not sure
we
how we
could also try the dragon again.
We could try the dragon.
It's a thought.
I think... Ooh. How much XP are we getting per fight here? Roughly?
See.
Maybe?
20?
20
to 30, I think, is the general range, except for Goldman.
The Goldmans, yeah.
Goldman are almost useless at this point because we have no money.
So, 5 per 100 and we need 1,700?
Yeah. I mean, it's not forever. It's just some amount of time.
Dragon Warrior is that kind of game.
Yep. It's its biggest flaw. Is that most of the gameplay is just walking back and forth.
There's something magical about it, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's not without value, but it is definitely the complaint with this game.
Yeah. Once you start, honestly, I feel like once you start questioning the value of grinding in JRPGs, you start to question the fundamental mechanics that make JRPGs JRPGs, and I'm not sure where you stop and where you end it. Until you get something like Final Fantasy 13, which has a different approach to how combat is handled.
And even 10, I mean, even in the PS2 era, and even in the PS1 era, I feel like they don't demand as much grinding. They curve it a little bit.
Probably, I might have already mentioned this, I guess, but I feel like it's partially. You're on one end of this pole is resource management, which is kind of what this game is about, and on the other end is kind of tactical combat to some degree, and you can combine them in various degrees.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably what Final Fantasy did more. I think maybe that made it very popular is that it had a greater. Especially compared to this, where we really don't do anything except smack the monsters.
Yeah, there's no real strategies. Just fight until you need to heal, and then fight more. And occasionally you cast Stop Spell.
Final Fantasy, instead of making one decision per turn, you make 4. So you
and there are more options. Like, the spells matter, especially for combat. And Final Fantasy did a lot to make elements be a thing that you care about.
And you can control what level of... how much magic you have, how many of each type you have,
And you don't get to have all the magic.
I was just gonna say that, yeah. If you recall, you can only purchase 3 out of 4 spells per.
I totally remember that.
Yeah. I do think it requires a little bit less grinding than Dragon Warrior, though.
A little bit less.
A little bit less.
Yeah, there's still a fair portion of grinding. And part of what makes the grinding worse in that game is that because each turn requires you to do 4 different inputs, the individual battles take a little longer.
Yeah.
Which can be aggravating.
It would be interesting to compare that in actual time.
Well, we will have that opportunity.
We will. The other thing that's interesting, this one is a much more colorful screen.
Oh, I think this is a more colorful
for
game,
what it's worth.
Fundamentally.
I mean, the black background in Final Fantasy is its thing, but but you don't get a nice landscape with that nose mountain and the 3 clouds and the 3 tiny stones at the bottom, and neon monsters,
lumpy bushes, the crazy.
To be
neon
fair,
monsters.
I've never seen any of the big monsters in Final Fantasy, so
yeah, you haven't finished it.
No, I have not.
I have. I don't remember there being much in the way of neon monsters like there are in this game, where it's like totally unafraid to just color the monsters pink and call it a day.
I'm absolutely in love with that.
So
all monsters should be in bright neon, wacky colors. It's kind of what makes life worth living. To have pink booted,
there are so many enemies with pink on them in some way, shape, or form in these palette swaps. Like,
yeah.
It just blows my mind that they just kept jumping to pink as their go-to. Like, but this enemy is stronger. Let's make it pink. Like,
they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
The wyverns are terrifying, though. They look like kind of old men with beaks wrapped in like bug slug bodies.
Bug slug bodies.
Bug slug. Oof, horrific. It's truly horrific.
All right. Take a moment.
Take a moment. I love these so much.
They're good.
We're now drinking Monster Rehab.
Rehab by Monster.
Lemonade plus. We're drinking a monster. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. We started watching. Have you ever seen Bram Stoker's Dracula?
I've read Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yes. It's the Francis Ford Coppola adaptation, starring Gary Oldman as Dracula.
Really?
Starring Keanu Reeves.
What
as
is this
Jonathan
movie?
Harker. Starring Winona Ryder as Mina
what
Harker.
in the world? I don't understand.
Starring
this at
Anthony
all.
Hopkins as
What?
Van Helsing.
How are all these people in the same movie?
They are. Okay, so.
Excuse me.
Okay, so first thing, visually gorgeous, totally from the early 90s, like last days of practical effects. Like the things that they did visually in the movie aren't beautiful. Crazy multiple exposures, double exposures, match cuts, like Dracula's shadow moving independent of him across the frame.
That's kind of cool.
Like his people being transfixed by his like mentalism as his eyes appear in the sky. Like matte paintings in the back and model built cities. Like it's incredible. The rest of it is not as, I don't know. The pacing is problematic. The best part, I think, there's 2 best parts.
Okay.
Best part A, Keanu Reeves, who does not do a tremendously convincing British accent, and occasionally lapses into Bill and Ted style. There was a part when he returns to London and he sees Gary Oldman Dracula in the street, and he's like, "Whoa!" He doesn't actually say it, but it's the equivalent of being
That's
like,
awesome.
"Oh, it's Dracula." Gary Oldman Dracula, he has like long, black, like kind of, sort of like greasy looking hair.
I cannot picture this
He's
at
wearing
all.
like circular, lensed sunglasses. He has a mustache, kind of beard thing going on, and like a top hat. Chrissy and I cruelly have decided that he was Gamergate Dracula.
Oh man.
Yes, it's a certain aesthetic.
That is very silly. I cannot believe that is a thing that got made.
It really is, yeah. Van Helsing.
Like, who is that casting director? Like, that is a crazy job.
Well, it's really weird too because Gary Oldman, he starts out as like an old Dracula. Like he has a weird like double bun haircut, and he's eyebrowless and like pale and dry, but he transforms himself into young, sexy Dracula. He just with the wavy hair.
But why would he ever choose to be old man Dracula?
My hypothesis was that up until that point he hadn't been drinking much blood, so that he was weak, and once he indulged, he gained his youth back. Yeah.
It's a classic vampire thing.
Yeah. It's also kind of a love story because the whole point is that he was defending Christendom against, the infidel hordes, and then what happens is they send in his enemies send an arrow. They shoot an arrow with a note into his castle that says he's dead, and his wife kills herself. His wife kills herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You nailed it.
Grammatically correct.
You got it.
And then he's obviously broken apart by it. He starts desecrating the church, and
like one does.
Yeah, and then he becomes a vampire because of Satan or something. And Mina Harker looks just like her. I mean, that's kind of the thing in Bram Stoker. Like he sees.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, yeah. Anyway, Keanu Reeves as Jonathan Harker.
That is so crazy.
It is wacky. It's kind of cool. We also watched Deathbed, The Bed That Eats, which is also great.
I'm sure it is.
This story, trying to outline the plot of Deathbed, The Bed That Eats it's pretty ridiculous. The actual plot of the film is that one day a young girl is out standing next to a river reading a book, and there is a wind demon who lives in a tree out there, and every now and then, because it is the whim of a wind demon, it becomes a wind and flows around the girl, right? Flows through her memories and her brain. Yeah. And then he falls in love with her, so he takes a human form, and because he would like to bed her, he creates a bed out in the middle of the field. But when a demon loves a human, it ends up killing the human, as it does here.
Of course.
Her shedded blood falls upon the bed, which kind of impregnates the bed with demonic consciousness and demonic hunger, and then she becomes kind of pseudo-undead, and she's buried beneath the earth, and then the wind demon returns to its tree, and then the bed is just there alive, hungry for human flesh. It eats everything. It eats anything that's upon it.
But why would anyone get on that bed?
That is a good question, but you would be surprised the reasons.
I mean, you made it sound like the bed's just out in the middle of nowhere.
Well, it was originally, but then it was taken into like a chateau, what I mean, like a mansion, and eventually it's in a cellar. But people go there to have sex, or then they're like, "Oh, we bought this, nice mansion for relatively cheap. I guess we'll just sleep on this bed in the cellar," and then they get eaten. And
I keep picturing the bed like getting up and walking around with a menacing toothy grin.
No, what actually happens is they lie on the bed, and then it starts foaming and they dissolve into it.
What?
Yeah, and the bed also has like a voice, so it kind of will burp and fart after it has eaten, and then it will snore while it's sleeping. And then there's one person, a poet with tuberculosis, that it couldn't eat, so it traps the painter, behind a portrait, and he's the narrator of the film. And he's watching all this happen. The best part is there's a girl who shows up, of course, who looks just like the girl that the wind demon fell in love with. So it gives the bed indigestion. The bed then eats a bottle of Pepto-Bismol.
No, this is not a real movie that you're describing.
It absolutely is. It's incredible. It does do that, though.
Dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Then the best part, though, is when the brother who's coming to look for this girl, he takes a knife, as one does, to stab Deathbed to end its reign of evil forever. However, Deathbed pulls his hands into its acid pool.
Of course.
And his hands come out, and there's nothing on them anymore. They're just bones. And so there's this tremendous
And
scene.
I assume he doesn't scream until he sees
No,
this.
he doesn't scream at all. He just sits down, and then he looks at his hands, and no joke, he's just... Great. And then, it's actually kind of horrific, though. He has to have his, equally now mad from the situation sister break his skeletal hands off of his body.
Why?
I don't know. And then the way you destroy Deathbed, of course, is when the Wind Demon falls asleep. The poet, he can speak outside of his painting, and then he says, well, you have to make a giant circle of sticks outside, and then you make a circle of blood around the bed, and then you set that on fire, so it transports the bed outside, and then you have to it will awaken the corpse of the girl that the Wind Demon fell in love with. She just has to mate with the handless brother, and then that will burn the bed to death and free them from its sorcery. That's Deathbed, the Bed That Eats spoiler edition.
Spoiler edition. It sounds like a great movie.
It was incredible.
That I am sure is underappreciated now.